iamLadyCharmaine, and my guest today is an actress and a rapper who hit the rap scene as a guest on Ice Cube's America's Most Wanted in 1990. And Ice Cube returned the favor by appearing on her major hit entitled You Can't Play With Me Yo-Yo. And she's here today to talk about her TV One Unsung episode, The Story of Yo-Yo. Help me welcome Miss Yolanda Whitaker, better known as Yo-Yo. Welcome.
Hey, Miss Charmaine, how are you?
I am good, girl. I'm so glad we get a chance to hear about your story. You know, like I said to you earlier, off the air, I got a chance to meet you almost 3 years ago. Fantastic woman. Had a great time talking with you. And I'm just so glad to have you here on the show.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited about today. It's been a well-anticipated show, and last night we got a chance to watch it, and so I'm even more excited than I was after taping it. So I'm just really excited about tonight, you know, and the story, kicking it with Yo-Yo.
Now, were you surprised when you got the call that they wanted to do a story about you? What was your reaction when you got the call?
Well, you know, my true reaction was I was excited. I was like, what? Yeah. And then I was like, oh, wait, I don't know if I want to, you know, because it was all. You think about Unsung, you think about the da-da-da, you know, and so, you know, and I'm like, I don't think I have that, you know, I've never been on drugs, I don't really, you know, haven't been in an abusive relationship, none that I couldn't fight my way out of, and, you know, I just felt like those who wronged me, I didn't want to blast them, so I was like, I don't know if I want to sling mud right now, oh no, I'm on my comeback. So it was a good thing because I needed the press. I'd love to tell my story. You know, that's a prayer I've been having to God. Like, God, let me use me to reach other people. You know, history, my testimony helps someone else. My history can help, you know, those who are coming behind me. You know, maybe I could help them learn from my mistakes or, you know, from things that I wish I had known that I know now. So it was just, you know, but Unsung did this piece justice. And, you know, I cried.
Really?
I know. I know.
Wow. So it must have been really emotional. Because, you know, because it's amazing to see you go from, you know, being with Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted, to, you know, You Can't Play With My Yo-Yo. And you are now a mayor's wife. Did you ever imagine yourself marrying a politician?
Could he imagine himself marrying a rapper?
Okay.
I'm still a Leo. I'm always joking. You know what? Conversation, you know, politics and community activism is something that I've always been a part of. I was a woman of his heart because of my care for women, children, and community. And he, you know, him the same, coming out of a community that was, that needed rebuilding, rebirthing. And, you know, and I fell in love with a man who could love a city that was in distraught and could care so much, truthfully, you know.
And then here you both go, and you have a great impact anyway because your story is great. You also do something that we call is it Yo-Yo's? You have like a hip hop academy for kids, right? It's like Yo-Yo's School of Hip Hop.
It's the School of Hip Hop, right? Arts and Academics. Yeah, we have since 2011 when we started, we've impacted about 10,000 kids between the ages of 7 and 17. Beat production, which is art, math and science and engineering. Our lyrics class is really English writing proficiency program. Our hip hop dance is the truth. My theater class is just, you know, gets people to you know, live within themselves or, you know, live within somebody else to learn their truth and learn how to play that character. Vocal class is singing out loud. So we get kids that come in the summer and leave for September with confidence back in school. They're able to read, write, be more efficient. They're just, you know, their artist development, you know, all that stuff matters. And they become young professionals from hanging out with Auntie Yo-Yo.
Oh, how sweet. Because, to me, you weren't your normal average rapper, because we know that there were so many other rappers during the time when you came up, but you started something which I like, which was the IBWC, the Intelligent Black Women's Coalition, to let people know, especially in the 90s, that we are intelligent Black women. Why was that so important to you?
I was a peer counselor in high school and a teen counselor, and I didn't realize I was sitting in there, complaining about my mom, wants me to press her hair before I go to school, and, I got to clean up before I do my homework, and sometimes I can't get my homework done, and my mother, she fuss and cuss, and, she have a party, I got to wash all the dishes, I was in there talking stuff like that. And kids were really in there talking about molestation from their fathers. They were in there talking some real stuff. And, and these were people I was going to school with. Like, I was like, wow. And I bonded with these young women. And from the ninth grade to my senior year. And I wanted to continue that. I was like, wow, I want to do something for young women who's got low self-esteem, who's been molested, who's been mentally, physically, emotionally abused, because I could just think about the girls who I had sat with for 3 years, Mm. And so I created the Intelligent Black Women's Coalition, and I was just thinking it was just for young girls in my community, but when we promoted it, so many people, different ages, different races, different nationalities came out and, in support of it, like, hey, I'm a teacher, I'm a professor, and, and this is my story. And I was like, wow, I should have just titled it the Intelligent Women's Coalition, because I didn't realize how wide it was at that time.
Mm-hmm. So I want to talk to you.
Very successful.
Oh, sorry about that. I want to talk to you about your history. How did you become a rapper? What was it about the industry that really interested you to even begin to become a rapper? Were you a poet? Did you like poetry before you became a rapper? How did your career begin, even your interest?
Roxanne Shante, there was a real Roxanne Shante. We were Roxanne twins. Run DMC, Salt and Pepper, of course. In Los Angeles, we had rappers like King T, NWA, Toddy T, which were blazing airways, and they were just, in that Los Angeles, you had NWA saying a bitch is a bitch, and I ain't the one, and it was just so degrading to women, and I was like, wait, hold up. And I was in English and pep classes, and English writing proficiency classes, and my English teacher, who was teaching us Langston Hughes and different poets at that time, he was learning about the curves and, it's not the swing of my hips and all of that, so we were learning about being a woman and hearing this other stuff on the radio. So, me being a character already, it was just something, I was using poetry. When I didn't have a rap to go battle them, I was using Langston Hughes and Maya Angelou's poems. They didn't know.
So you was biting.
I listened, yes. At that time, yes. I was just, and then I really started writing. My lunchtime and my recess was spent creating, and writing rhymes, and it just became a lifestyle.
So you mentioned something about NWA and what they were saying, and all of a sudden, I guess you meet a man by the name of Ice Cube, and you end up on his album. How did that even come about? How did you cross roads?
Well, we had a mutual friend. I had a friend that went to school with us, with Jinx, who was one of our producers, who was Ice Cube's producers. We went to school together. And he was an artist as well, could never beat me, was never good as me. I'm just joking. But he knew the players. And we would battle all the time, like on the quad and at school. But it wasn't him. It was a guy by the name of T-Bone, who was one of Ice Cube's best friends. And he said Ice Cube was in the process of leaving NWA. He said, I'm looking for a female artist. And T-Bone said, hey, you got to check out this girl that goes to Washington. Cube's mom lived not far from the high school that I went to. And so he came and checked me out a couple of times. And I had made, from doing so many talent shows, I had made quite a name for myself within the community. We got together, and that was it. Went from me rapping in front of him to in his mom's living room to making songs to flying to New York,
And so, wow. So, I mean, what a great connection that you both was able to have. And then he ended up being on your song. So he just repaid that as a favor to launch you in your album and your career.
I'm sorry?
I said he ended up being on your album. So did he repay the favor to help launch your album in your career? Or did you just ask him, hey, can you do a spot on my song?
I was cute. Yeah, I was his first project. We worked together. I mean, we were really like brothers and sisters working together. He would, say, oh, I got this idea, just really excited about, I got this idea. He was like, and I never forget, I was sitting in his mom's, in the hallway of his mom's house. And he was like, oh my God. He was like, you gotta hear this. And I was like, what? He was like, my name is YoYo. I'm not a hoe. No. I was like, what? He was like, you like that? I was like, I love it. Let me hear it. He was like, my name is YoYo. I'm not a hoe. I was like, I love it. So we got to writing right there from that point. And the whole hook, that's Queen Latifah on the hook. Don't try to play me out. That's a sample. Don't try to play me out. Don't try to play me out. And so that was all done in production. But the whole idea, it all started with my name is YoYo.
It's so funny listening to your story and listening to what your mindset was back then, of course, intelligent Black women. And you came during the era with the Queen Latifahs, the Salt and Peppers, the Roxanne Shantays. For you, what was the struggle like, if there was a struggle for you as a female trying to break into an industry with positivity? Was there a struggle for you?
My struggle didn't come. I think my struggle came when the industry changed. When, Little Kim and Foxy Brown came out and she was saying she was swallowing her thing with a Coke bottle, and looking just real provocative and, just very sexual. I was just like, damn, I'm not going to be able to compete. Like, I can't, how can I do that? Like, I'm used to battling guys, and combating. How can I combat that? Because here I was speaking, the IBWC girl power, I went against that. That's like almost going against girl power. That's almost like going against IBWC. That's almost like going against, so... And, and even though I would try, like, okay, I understood the industry was changing and there was a shift in music, and it was about being, baggy pants and the cross colors and, the style of hip hop at that time. I just couldn't find myself, even when I did, I just like, and I didn't really always like the baggy clothes, but I was just like, I can't find myself, I had been places, I had seen things, I had talked to the little kids, I knew they were listening.
Right.
It was too much of a contradiction of my character. I started caring too much. I read the articles, It mattered to me what people thought. It mattered to me what people saw of me, and once I realized that hip-hop was as powerful as it was, minus the fact that I was a young girl from South Central Los Angeles who really didn't know the power of hip-hop. Once I knew the power of hip-hop, I could never go back to, the sacrifice that, because I was like, oh my God, like, I started like saying, becoming a real advocate, like, it became real mental for me, and I just became more involved in my community, even more than I was before, because I started seeing a difference. I started recognizing the change. I was no different from the young girls I grew up with, yet I was being treated different. People couldn't come across this side. It was just I was like, wait, hold up. I was recognizing racism, something that I had never experienced. It was just different. So, it was hard for me to, really fit in, and that really changed the game for me.
Wow. So did you make a decision to walk away for a season because it wasn't you? You didn't want to turn it to something that you wasn't comfortable with and who you really were?
You know, I've battled with it for a long time, trying to find that happy medium. You know, it was just really hard for me to find that song that made, you know, that took me to that next level, because hip hop was changing. You know, it was no longer West Coast gangster rap. It had moved to the East Coast where, you know, it was flashy. It was P. Diddy. It was Puffy. It was a big, you know, it was talking, you know, they had moved it up a notch. Mm-hmm. And so it was hard for me to switch. So that transition wasn't a very good transition for me, because here I was with Ice Cube, who wanted me to stay into this kind of mode, yet I wanted to move in a way that I just wasn't too sure of how, you know?
Wow.
So yeah, it was a trying period. I mean, I wrote many raps. I've said a lot of things I did, you know, that would end up in the trash. I have a lot of songs that never made it. You know, I record them, I do it, I say it, I mean it. It was me, you know. Mm-hmm. I couldn't put it out. I'm like, after I heard it, I'm like, nah, it's okay. I don't want to do that. That's like a contradiction of what I do. I can't really put that out. Yeah, I can talk sexy and talk a lot of crap and, you know, move my ass and all that. I just, I don't want to put that out. I'm sorry.
So for you, speaking of, because I could still hear the struggle as you're talking about it. It seemed like it's just as fresh today as it was when you were going through it. So if you know a young female and she is desiring to go into the rap industry, what advice would you give to her?
You know, I would tell them, you know, be as free as a bird. Don't live within any walls. Don't cage yourself in nowhere. Live within your expression and live within your truth. Be an artist. It's hard to be, you know, it's hard to do all things, you know. Try to just be an artist and do artistry. You know, if you believe it, then say it. You know, if it makes you feel good, then do it. Live within your own truth. And that's what the people want, you know? Mm-hmm. The people want the truth. The people want to party, people want to have fun, but the people want to be able to trust you and your music. So, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Now, I read, YoYo, that you might be appearing in BET's reality series Hip Hop Sisters, which is featuring 6 females, also including MC Lyte, Lady of Rage, Moni Love, Lil Mama, and Smooth. Is that project still in the works?
Yeah, well, we are working on something else. We got something else in the same family, but we're working on something now. And that one fell through the cracks for BET, but we are working on some things, hopefully with a different network and a different storyline and some different folks. But yeah, I'm still working with MC Lyte.
Okay. And before we go, I want to know, what are some of the things that your fans did not know about you that you would love for them to know about you, but they never got a chance to learn those things? Like, are you a cook? You like to cook? What are some of the things that you love to do that because we don't see that part of you, we only know you as YoYo, the rapper and actress in some of our favorite movies.
I love bowling. I love cooking. I'm cooking some Spanish food at my house tonight. I make the best bomb turkey tacos. My monster turkey burgers are to die for. I love bowling. I am a true child of God, so I'm very spiritual, and I'm real family oriented. I'm really a home girl, so I spend most of my time really chilling with my kids, and all the kids are with me. That's what they don't know. Everybody's babies are at my house, and I'm at Knott's Farm, at Disneyland. All the kids call me Auntie YoYo, and they're always with me.
Oh, that's sweet. Well, that's good to know. And I just want to remind everyone to make sure that they tune in tonight to TV One Unsung, the story of YoYo, airing from between 8 and 7 Central, depending on what time zone you're in. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a true pleasure to have you, to talk with you, to hear your story. And I'm sure we're going to learn so much more tonight on Unsung, again, airing 8 7 Central on TV One. And I would love to have you back on the show.
Thank you so much, and you can have your followers follow me at YoYo Fearless on my social media site. Thank you so much. so much.
You are so welcome.
Lady Charmaine.